Welcome back to Valkyrie Flight. We are a bit of in a weird situation this episode, as Q has created an alternate reality where the crew of the Valkyrie are just actors in a Star Trek TV show. So things are very weird for a couple of them. The rest seem to just taken on the personality of their actors, while Ted and Safan seemingly are caught in some weird middle ground where they know that they're Starfleet officers but are stuck in the bodies of human actors under Ted's under heavy prosthetics. Safan is under typical Vulcan prosthetics, which is basically some makeup and some pointy ears. So after that revelation, the crew have had the performance cut and is just sort of milling around while other Q has other plans in action. So is there anything anyone wants to do quickly before we move on to the next scene? Ted's, if I remember, is pouting in his trailer. Kelly is like getting some sunbathing in. I don't know about anyone else. What anyone else is doing?
Zachary is having lunch, a ham sandwich
at the crafts table.
Yeah, there's actually a pretty wide selection at the crafts table. There is, I had some things written down, but I've misplaced them. But there's, some usual like lunchy kind of things like sandwiches, but various drinks. There's, there's just a pretty wide general assortment of relatively healthy food.
No donuts? Lame.
No donuts. There are some cupcake. There are cupcakes though. So I'm gonna take it. No one else has anything particular they want to do. So about half an hour later, and while I do that, I will take off a momentum. Quentin Q, or as he's better known, is playing the director of this TV show.
Here's a question about that. Is Quentin also one of the executive producers?
Actually, he is basically, yes. He is, I mean, the TV show, yeah, he is actually would be the executive producer because he's doing a lot of, he's basically the one in control of not only you guys as actors,
oh
but
my God, he's
also
the in this universe.
Whole broader, he's basically... That's Q though. He's basically making himself the god. God.
Shocker.
Well, the man's ego no bounds.
Never.
So Quentin calls Ted up on his Nokia 3210, and gets him to orders him to come over to offset for a team meeting, and he sends runners to get everyone else to assemble for a group meeting. So there is just basically the six of you guys. Safan, who's playing whose actor is Safan also. There's Zachary
He's
playing Persian, playing Mzaka, playing Zachary playing Mzaka, Kelly playing Kilani, and so other few others, some rather bad name buns, which I really appreciate.
Hassan's current actress is currently handling an emergency.
And so all
At
six of
least they
you,
said it was.
gather, and there's for some reason you don't really particularly know why, but you're sort of gathering, milling around before Q Quentin comes up, says, "Well, since we're coming up to the end of the season, we need you guys to do some promotion. So I've organised some vehicles to take us to a little stage where we've got set up and brought some cameras in to record some promotional material. Timeline Entertainment will be there, and they will be doing some interviews for you. So just remember, you got to promote the show, to be truthful, but don't say too much, because we want to keep things at least somewhat of a surprise. And 3, Ted, don't make a scene, all right? All right. So is that all clear?
Yeah, actually, are we gonna go to this in full costume? Just asking because it said it's pretty hot wearing this.
Well, look, you have, if you want to, you can. If you want to get out of costume, you can. We have 30 minutes before the car is ready to pick you up. So make use of that time as you see fit. It'll be here, and he checks an old Omega watch. Actually, remarkably similar to one that the DTI agents buried for Monica. And he checks it. Yes, half an hour right here, and I will we'll go all as a group. Is that all good? Everyone's ready, and no one has any questions.
Theodore's lips purse when he notices the watch.
All right, go. And so then Quentin just sort of meanders off, going to talk to some, like the director of photography.
Theodore's probably going to follow whoever the other next person in makeup is and head over to well, he doesn't really know exactly how things were filmed for heavy CGI and holographics. Stage makeup is before his time.
So
it's like, what are practical effects?
So you sort of look around and you see, there's a makeup trailer. As you look around, it's not hard to find. There's pretty much everything is actually remarkably well laid out and well organized here.
Yeah, had to be. So it probably sucks, but he's probably going to have to get a little bit torn out of the prosthetics, have all the makeup wiped down. And
Yeah. So there's a bit of time as a number of professionals help you to release and step out and just maintain the integrity of the prosthetics that you have. And
well, I've already torn some of it off, so it doesn't matter anymore.
Yeah, but I mean, what you've taken off is like hasn't really been all that well. But some of this you wouldn't be able to take off yourself anyway. So you find yourself rather in from going to really hot. You actually find it quite pleasant. It's a nice warm, about 80-degree day, 85 Fahrenheit.
Oh, so a nice winter day in Los Angeles.
It is rather pleasant. Not rather not hot, but not you're not chilly either. Um, so everyone else, most of the people, Zachary would technically would Zachary have taken off his stuff as soon as things got.
Oh, he was taking things off earlier. He already took off his like fake head and stuff.
Okay, yeah. All right, so he's out of makeup. Yeah, all of you are pretty much in your base human forms now, with all the makeup taken off, and within the time limit, you all managed to meet back, and Q basically forces you into what amounts to this slightly oversized van. Just a generic white van. That belongs to the studio. The windows are sort of very tinted, but not properly blacked out.
Also, the air conditioning doesn't work because they're cheap bastards.
Thank you, Paramount. All right. Well, I assume we're all kind of piled in for this for the big old, the big press extravaganza. Looking on everyone.
All right,
Leaning over to Safan. Do you have any idea what's going on here?
I do not, Captain.
Yeah, no, this is before me. Most of my study was in the 22nd century. I don't really know what we're doing.
It sounds like media interviews for our assigned roles on the television show.
Well, I mean, it's not too different than what we've done before, right? And we've spoken to the news.
Might be somewhat more sensational than we are used to. By the 24th century, reporters have a more vested interest in reporting facts.
That's right. Things a little bit more for profit at this period.
Indeed.
Oh boy. Okay. All right. Did you happen to get a copy of the script?
Have the writers produced a copy of the script?
Like any script that you have, anyone you talk to says that's all the script up to the end of where you cut. That's all the script that has been produced so far. Everyone you've ever asked, you ask. So there isn't any more just yet.
I'm gonna look around the van, see if I can get the prevailing mood of everybody else.
All right, just give me an insight command, definitely one.
Sure. There's no way I suck at this. Let's see. Command, presence, diplomacy. I don't think I have any applicable foci.
Okay. So you
Goddamn.
get you've got one free momentum, floating. But the question everyone else apart from you and Safan seem rather, I'm gonna say, slightly bored. Like everything seems like just run of the mill, general. Nothing particularly has they just sort of deal. This is sort of normal.
Take it from us. We've been all over the universe.
All right. Crowd riled up. And Theodore's gonna clap his hands. All right, everybody. I know this is kind of routine at this point, but we got to make a good show. So come on, get pumping, get moving.
And the driver who you had been rather making a peep Well, I've got exactly the price, the right thing to for you, and he starts up like a cassette tape that had a
Couldn't we get one with a CD player?
actually, no, it would be at this time a CD player. Starts up a CD with basically it's a mix of '90s hits. There is Tub Thumping by Chumbawamba. There's
It's now that's what I call music volume 3.
there is Linger by I had a list, but I've lost that list of just '90s hits, like some Spice Girls in there, some just energetic, totally '90s music. I think even like Mbop from Hanson's would be there. As the car, as the van just starts lurching forward and you drive off the lot, it would be off the Paramount lot at this stage, and into the streets of LA.
And there we sit for 2 hours. Los Angeles traffic.
I mean, I'm pretty sure we could use the carpool lane.
Yeah, that's why I only said 2 hours.
Fair.
So I mean, so the music goes on. It's pretty dull. The next hour, you're not really like, if you want to give me say an inside command role.
I'll do inside security. Why not?
I'll do Inside Command, yeah. I imagine both Safon and I are happy that we have human noses rather than our regular noses because of all the smog and etc.
Yeah.
Observation focus, Baz?
I'm gonna say yes.
Okay.
All right. So, Stefan, you don't get the sense that I'm not going to give you a lot of information, but everything seems to be pretty normal here. There doesn't seem to be, it's just basically someone shuttling you from one place to another. Ted, or Theodore, you get the sense that there's a bit of a time crunch, and the driver is trying to like get to the destination, even though like the LA traffic is a bit of an issue. It's trying to make the destination perhaps not so a bit more speedier than he should be.
What time was the interview scheduled for?
There was you haven't been given any of that information. You're just saying you're going to get interviewed, and when you get there, you're going to get interviewed. So it's just sort of on the spot that you find out you even were going to get interviewed. So it's all when you get there, pretty much from your perspective.
Well, I'm going to tap the driver on. I'm going to tap the driver on the shoulder. Hey, first off, sorry, I didn't get your name.
It's Leo.
Leo, hey, thanks for driving us. Do you know when we're supposed to be at the interview?
About another half hours when it's scheduled. Though, got about another 40 minutes of actual traffic. Surprisingly, it's not that far away. They just want to, just miscalculate the traffic, unfortunately. It's
like how far away? Like a block or two?
It's
A block or two.
I'd say more about 3 blocks, but yeah, we're about 3 blocks away. But
to clarify, we're not on the highway, right?
No, you were for a bit, but that was more.
Yeah, we're not on 65 or anything like that.
No, you're in you're basically in. I wouldn't say downtown, but you're basically in what would amount to local streets.
All right.
Well, good, because there's something to do downtown.
Yeah. Well, there was a couple things back in the 90s. Not so much now. All right. Actually, Leo, think you can give us the address?
Well, I pretty want to get there early and do this and not worry about. I got to keep you guys safe, and the best thing to do that is to take you all there together without any of the cuckoo crazy fans actually seeing you.
No, it'll be fine. It'll be fine. I mean, most of us aren't even in makeup. Look, I'm gonna actually look at his dashboard and see if he actually put the address somewhere, like on a note or something.
Give me a insight. Command. I'll let you do command on this one.
All right, I'm gonna grab a die for cautious. Yes.
Okay, you do actually see a slip of paper with an address written down. It's sitting on the dashboard. You had to sort of like tilt your head one way to actually see it around, around the chair and around the rest of Leah's body, but you can see it.
Hey, oh, is that it right there? I snatch it.
Leo sort of like there's a bit of a swerve as he reacts, not really sort of wanting to stop you, but not really wanting to.
He also has to drive the vehicle.
Yeah.
I know, buddy.
So hey, put that back. I need that.
You know what? No, Leo, you're doing a fantastic job. Eyes on the road. But we really need to get to this show. We need to get to this interview. I mean, actors are generally supposed to be late, but we don't want to be douchebags, right? All right. You know what? Traffic's gonna be taking a while. I can see that because it's Los Angeles. So, and he reaches for the door and pulls it open. We're gonna meet you there.
Well, fortunately,
This would potentially be a bad idea with the vehicle still in motion, Captain.
Fortunately, Leo is coming to a red stoplight, so he has to stop.
I'm gonna do it while we're not moving.
So fortunately, he is stopped right now, so you can all Theodore can leave and Savan can leave and what have you.
All right, come on, everybody, come on. Gotta get there on time. And the brisk walk isn't a bad idea. Cooped up in the studio all day. Come on.
Jane will slide out of the car and follow.
Zachary grudgingly gets up, just shooting Theodore looks.
Kelly's like snacking on some bubblegum.
So unfortunately, since Steph isn't here right now, we're gonna have to say that
They stay in the van.
they stay in the yes. That's actually what they do. They stay in the van and they just go. She just like double face palm. The actor just double face palms and just like. You guys crazy. I'll see you there.
Yep, we'll meet you there.
And once everyone else, Steph just slams the door closed and just... yeah.
All right, I'm looking at the address. Let's see the address.
All right, for this, give me an reason science with your temporal mechanics focus. See if you can work out.
2.
All right, that's just enough. You're able to not only pass what this means, but you're able to see this is actually the street that we need to be on. Is just follow down here. We've got another 2.5 blocks. Based on the numbering scheme that you remember.
Looks like it's bit north. All right, everybody, this way. And get on the sidewalk and start walking. And then we have the very expensive outdoor location scene as we walk down the sidewalk.
It's like, I need to roll for something.
Zachary puts his hood up so that nobody sees his face.
Unfortunately, that is not like even with the hood up, you have enough recognizable faces around you that people start notice.
Yep.
And they actually, like, a lot of them are just, like, whispering and talking and pointing in your direction. Some are pulling out, like cameras,
Like Polaroids.
Polaroid cameras, and but I mean not Polaroids, but like more
Instacams. So there's probably a fair number of tourists here. Yeah.
there would be like film cameras. I think still a couple of film cameras around that they would take and then get processed later, and there's even a couple of people that are starting to like beeline towards your direction.
Theodore's going to own it. He's going to put on the charm and just start greeting people, waving, etc., etc.
All right, so some of these people, have things that actually have things on them that they want you to sign.
Yeah, no, he's going to ask for a pen. He's going to walk, but he's going to keep walking. He's going to sign autographs.
All right, so just give me a presence command.
I'm also going to grab another die for this one. Let's see. Can I use diplomacy to turn on the charm?
I will definitely allow that.
I'm going to reroll that one.
Okay.
There we go. I don't know why I did it twice, but...
Okay, so you got 3. That you get a momentum back. You're able to appease the fans enough with your personality and with assigning that while still people like after the initial wave things sort of calm down a bit, but still people are looking and pointing and taking photos. They're just sort of like, all right, now that we've the crazies quote unquote have had their time. It's you're just more of a, oh look, the Star Trek actors are out.
Yeah. Oh look, it's a celebrity in Los Angeles.
Yeah. Like B-list.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, so can everyone give me a fitness security check?
Sure.
Probably not a focus on this one.
It's basically to see how fast you get there.
Gotcha. 2 successes here.
Oof. Well, it makes sense that I'd be the one dragging because I'm talking to people.
Kelly,
Yeah, so while you're distracting the rest of the crew, while you're drawing them to that gives your crew members enough time to to get ahead while you're the one being slowed down. So they're like they arrive and you're a good block behind them. As you start to catch up.
Oh wow, you just brought the model ship with you. Okay, yeah, no, all right, that's fine.
So for Mzaka, I'm gonna give you the momentum back.
I'm just gonna say I feel like Zachary took advantage of this, kept his head down, and kept going, and then got there 10 minutes before everyone else and ducked into the green room early.
Oh,
all right. So yeah, the address that you remember it turns out to be sort of more like another theater. It's sort of like a it's like a smaller studio, really. That's what it is. As you head in, you're meted by Quentin, who is actually somewhat surprised that you're there. Sorry, what was that?
I said, who probably magically teleported himself there because Q.
Yeah, I mean, he's there. I mean, he's obviously, organized and made sure to have some kind of transport mechanism in universe. He's there, and
yeah. To be fair, whenever Q's in an alternate universe like this, he generally plays by the rules. Yeah, thinking back on the Robin Hood episode. Yeah, no. Anyway, continue. Sorry.
So everyone else knows that Quentin actually likes to ride bicycles. So,
well, that would explain it.
So you actually do see the bicycle, just a bicycle just standing there, like leaning against the wall inside the green room. Inside the foyer, really. Well, Zachary, you were earlier than I thought you would be, but good. Seems that...
Sorry, what was that? Zach?
Oh, I was saying, before someone spoke over me, let's just get this over with, Quentin.
All right. Well, the timeline entertainment people are just almost ready. Apparently there was some confusion with organization, and they set up earlier than we wanted to be, and they need to be gone by the time we wanted to be. But nevertheless, they're here. Just for now, go into the green room. It's that way, as he points through a door that's actually behind him, and just slightly to the left.
I do it immediately. It's like, as rude as hell, just walk away.
Alright, so you all eventually get there at your points. Theodore is the last one to be there, by a good 20 minutes. But
wow.
But you still you do see the van, and the van has actually made much slower progress than the driver was anticipating. So at least you're still well ahead of Lasan and Leo, the driver. So you'll get there, and Quentin follows in with Ted, Theodore, and goes, well, if you follow me, there are timeline entertainment all set up, and he follows you through the other door that's there and leads you out onto a stage. There's a stage with a red curtain.
Oh.
That's basically set up around the edges, and a number of chairs. There's like 5 chairs at the front, and then another few chairs are a bit raised, slightly behind. Make yourself available here. We've got a few others that will be joining us shortly with the interview, but things are looking good. And as you come through, you also notice that there's a couple of camera setups, guy with a boom mic, and a female interviewer who's sitting right at the front of the stage, looking towards the crew, as they the chairs that the crew have set up, and she's got a little lapel mic and everything, while everyone else has got like this boom mic that hovers out of the camera frame above all the chairs.
Okay. In a kind of full media interaction mode, I'll probably go up and introduce myself to the interviewer.
Yeah, she introduces herself. I am Taya. I will be doing your interview. Yes, nice meeting all of you. If you could please take your seats, and once the stragglers have come in, we will start recording. So thank you once again. Please take a seat.
Yeah, no, I'm guessing. I'll take my seat. Just gonna look around at everybody. So, anybody know what's happening next in the episode?
Certainly something we shouldn't discuss here.
Well, I just mean I'm interested in what we're going to be filming, Any ideas? Because, they don't tell me nothing.
I don't think even the writers know what's gonna be next.
I'm going to be assuming that you're doing this like low with the other crew members.
Yeah,
So that the interview doesn't hear.
Yeah.
But that's what I'm going to be assuming.
Just kind of doing a little bit of inside baseball talk. I'm just, it's usually like... This just feels different, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. Am I the only one? I mean, I haven't been here that long.
We do not really have a basis for comparison.
So Kelly, you hear Kelly from behind you. You actually recognize the voice. It's Kevin, the actor who plays Keegan, going, Kelly, has Theodore had his existential acting crisis yet?
Not that I can tell.
So he's not gonna flip out.
How am I supposed to know? I mean, it's not like it happens according to a clock.
You got me there, all right. So coming out from behind, piecing through the curtains, you see Kevin / Keegan standing just in more of a like Hawaiian shirt and sort of board shorts, fitting along with the Rizian theme of the episode where he's introduced. He like smiles and just sort of nods at everyone.
I'm assuming Theodore's was drinking a bottle of water. He goes, the moment he sees Keegan.
And soon after him come Naisha, who plays Aris. There's Victor. I don't think I got his last name. He plays Dr. Vren, and there is also Richard Peltier, who plays the former commander Pellis. Who all join in the interview and take seats as they as things start to get started. Anyway,
just getting all the big players. All right. So looking around, I'm assuming Zachary's still just kind of blasé or uninterested.
He's reading his book in the corner, like some
Zen in the Art of Motorcycle Maintenance?
No, that's not that would be what Mazaka would read. No, Zachary is like reading some book that's like in Old English.
Oh, the Canterbury Tales?
Something like that, yeah.
That's
Alright.
some original Chaucer kind of stuff. Okay.
Yeah.
Theodore's gonna look over it. It's a good book.
Mm. The time.
All right. So Taya goes, all right. Time to your attention. We are officially recording. Please take your seats. The interview will have to start now. We have, unfortunately, a limited amount of time to get through the questions here. So I'm unfortunately going to have to rush through some of these.
Is Quentin there in the back behind the cameras?
He's standing off to the side. He's not on the stage, but he's just sort of standing in the wings.
Okay. Before the cameras go on, I look over him and I stare daggers at him.
You see this smirk on his face. All right. So thank you. So first, thank you for joining me here. Thank you for coming in. Sorry, let me start again because you would not be doing the ums and ahs.
It's all right.
Thank you for coming and joining us here at Timeline Entertainment for this interview. The crew of Star Trek Valkyrie and guest stars. She takes a moment and does a brief interview, brief introduction of the characters, then the full names and the characters they play. All right, so we're here to get some bit of information about what's going on behind the scenes, how season 2's shaping up, and some of your thoughts for what might be coming in the future. So for season 3. So as just to catch everyone up, particularly our viewers at home, we started with the season 2 starts with the crew of the Valkyrie returning from the Shackleton Expanse to Riser. Let's start with questionings by our captain here. Like, how was the Shackleton Expanse for you, and how does returning to Riser for what amounts to a break? How much of an impact does that have to the crew and to you as the captain of the Valkyrie?
Well, as you know, the experiences on Horizon were a bit of they were a bit of a challenge for all of us. Some people found new relationships, and some people found life-changing events that probably shaped the core of their foundation. And a lot of us just kind of have to. Our characters are dealing with that. We're still kind of dealing with that even now.
All right, so we know from some of the promotional material that Captain, you were joined by Keegan over here. Though we haven't actually seen the episode yet. It seems like there is a lot of intrigue going on in this episode. Would that be fair to say?
Yeah, no, this episode's definitely a turning point. I mean, this is actually kind of more the start of, my character's development, since I was brought in, after Mr. Rogue had to leave the show for reasons. And
Also go.
Go ahead.
All right, so that leads us to you, Kevin. You play the some of this mysterious character that's only known as Keegan, and some of the promotional shots show you standing by and engaging discussion with the captain. What are your thoughts on this start of the of the episode of this season for Valkyrie. So I'm not going to do word for word for the NPCs, but basically he goes in, starts discussing about how this chance encounter starts starts an attraction that he would enjoy pursuing some kind of relationship with the captain's character. That he's sort of very vague about the nature of this relationship, but he describes that essentially it boils down to there is a underlying physical attraction that Keegan has for the captain, and that's sort of where he sees the character growing and the interactions. That's sort of the foundation for everything that will develop. So that leads on to. I think that's an important point to approach. Zachary, you are one of the longest original serving crew members, along with Naisha here, going from the initial pilot, which I understand had a very rough beginning, to going to season 2 and beyond. How do you see your relationship with not only the Valkyrie but the captain and the this new potential rival for the captain's romantic interests?
I wouldn't necessarily start with. I wouldn't say that Keegan is so much of a rival to Misaka. The issue that's at play there is a measure of trust, and when I think it comes to the romantic elements, there is a lot of trust between the captain and the chief. As regards to the show's rocky beginnings, I think when the show was initially conceived, they cast a bunch of people who are, to be completely honest, they are all wonderful actors. They know the source material very well. They were very well written. The issue was that there was no chemistry between us. Only a handful of us really got along really well. And when you compare that with the current group, when the interviewing process began for multiple replacement crew members, they came in and ran scenes opposite those of us who stayed, so that we could figure out who could work with who. And generally speaking, I think we have a better relationship, and that's only helped the show. I know taking such a huge risk, changing casts in them halfway through season 1, looked terrible from the outside, but I think it ultimately did help the show. We really found our footing by the end of it. If the other crew would have found a way to become compatible like that, I don't know how things would have worked out. But as things are now, I'm very happy to see how it's.
Thank you for that. We do have some looks at some of the feedback, both from the initial season 1 and some of the changes that have occurred, but also from some of the test audiences that the production company has Paramount has provided to us. So she picks up a pad and starts. Here's some of the comments that we've seen and heard, both from fans and from internal testing. That there's comment here, but particularly about Theodore regarding the captain Ted. We have what we have here is just a rip-off and a wannabe Picard. What kind of response do you have to suggestions like this?
Well, I'm obviously not trying to emulate the work of, Patrick Stewart, just to make sure that out of character, just to make sure that I actually know who's playing Picard in the other series. I don't know if Ted knows.
Give me a.
I'm assuming one of the fans would have mentioned at some point. That I was speaking to.
Yes, you would. I will say that. I will allow that. I will definitely allow that. Fans would have mentioned Picard / Stewart. Yeah.
Like I said, I'm intentionally not trying to emulate him. Just as also as Avery Brooks isn't trying to emulate him over on Deep Space Nine. Ted is not supposed to be the archetypical Starfleet captain. He's impulsive. He's a little bit impatient. He knows how to talk his way out of problems, but he knows also frequently talks his way into problems. It's a bit of a different take when you think about it.
All right, and we have some comments that regarding the writing of the show. Perhaps one of the other crew might comment regarding just the stealing from, like building on or stealing as this commenter presented it as from the Deep Space Nine that is currently running alongside Valkyrie. How do you see this as stealing? Is it as the melding of these two storylines?
Who was that directed to? Sorry.
It was a general question open for anyone. It wasn't directed at anyone specifically.
Well, Don, Sarah, Journey haven't gone yet.
Yeah, you guys go.
Sophona's just kind of looking around quizzically, like trying to understand what the question actually means.
What about Sarah?
She has no idea. Whatever.
Dane will have
I'm just here.
Dane will have a thoughtful look on his face, and he'll speak up. I don't think the writers have stolen so much as we're adding on to a universe that has multiple things going on at once. And it's bound to happen that you'll see one thing in one show that you're going to see in another. Great ideas spur more great ideas. It's just adding on to something that everyone happens to enjoy.
Thank you, Dane. Which I suppose
I would add to that by saying the fact that we have two Star Trek shows running concurrently gives us a lot of opportunities that Star Trek really hasn't had in the past. The fact that Valkyrie and Deep Space Nine are in similar settings and similar areas of the Star Trek universe gives us the potential to, at some point, maybe do crossover episodes.
So
I think that's something the fans would love.
I can say from my own perspective, part of the reason why the character of Mazaka was written the way he was specifically to enable the possibilities of doing crossover episodes with Deep Space Nine. With the looming Dominion War arc that they are preparing for next season, the idea of being able to interlink our two campaigns, to have the Defiant and the Valkyrie flying side by side, is something that's been considered. It's whether or not that actually happens is ultimately up to producers. But the idea is we're creating a congruent Star Trek universe. Every single show is affecting each other, we are basically feeding from the same pool, giving each other plot lines, giving each other story ideas. What's happening in one show affects another. We're growing the universe when we do this. We're not ripping each other off.
That's definitely understandable. Thank you all for your insight. Dane, since you were the first one to speak up, it might as well talk about your character, which is a new character for season 2, who gets introduced shortly, I believe, according to the episode script I have here, introduced shortly after our first episode. Back. So what can you tell us of your character's interests and goals while coming aboard the Valkyrie?
I believe Ren is looking for a place to start his career as a psychologist. He hasn't graduated as a doctor yet. He doesn't have his formal title, and that's something he's wanting eventually to have for himself. And working on a starship as a counselor, especially to people that he's looked up to, I think that's something that he's wanting to do in the long run. And it'll mean more to him that way.
Thank you. Nisha, you, on the opposite scale here, you were the other long-time standing member of the crew of the Valkyrie. How has this dynamic changed regarding not only your... Well, we've heard from Mzaka that the connections between the actors have been strong, but in terms of building a unified unit, and essentially, are the actors as much of a family as the crew appear to be on the show? And so Nisha sort of responds, my character has particularly, I guess, has had a hard time in that a lot has changed for her in this period where she's gone just from the science officer to a Commander XO, and that is a big leap in both responsibility, but also in terms of activity. It's been a more behind the scenes role for her, and I think without the rest of the crew, without these fine cast here, that I think I would have like struggled with that change. It's like difficult, I was pretty much on every episode of the first half of the first season, and that has been a difficult change for me. But I think we are, in essence, we are a family, and that has given me the strength and the encouragement to help move on, and particularly, like for my character who has been there from the beginning. She is definitely looking to take that role where she is there in the background, just making sure everything works. Because if things aren't working in the background, then who knows what might go wrong in the future. So I think that's just been something that I've really been thinking about recently, and that's what I've concluded in the end.
I think it'll be really interesting to see what the writers do with Iris in the remainder of this season and in next season. There's a lot of potential for growth with the character.
Absolutely, definitely.
Alright, so Stefan, you also playing a character with your shared name, a Vulcan, as opposed to your Middle Eastern. Did you say heritage?
Persian.
Persian.
Persian, yes.
What there has been a lot of questions regarding the efficacy of the ship, particularly in the season one, and the how one might seem that the ship is a bit too powerful. What are your thoughts regarding just um, how powerful the ship is in terms of story? Is this something that you would like to see addressed, or is this something that um, would be seemingly as something that should be embraced rather than fixed?
Well, without what was the interviewer's name again?
Taya.
Thea? Without getting into too many details, I want to reassure you that that is something that the writers and the director have also been giving a lot of thought about. So, as we're ramping up to the Dominion War, I think you're going to see the Valkyrie's abilities kind of really put into perspective.
Nodding.
Hmm?
I'm just saying it. Theodore's nodding.
Like, the Valkyrie is an incredibly powerful ship, but the Dominion is unlike any threat the Federation has ever faced before. So, even the Borg, as menacing as they were not as ambitious.
All right, going from your professional duties to something a bit more personal, Safan. You have a developing relationship between your character and Dr. Kalani Jha. What do you see next for that relationship? How do you see that relationship developing into the future?
Ted turns and puts his elbow on his knee and turns. Yeah, how do you see that progressing, Safan?
And I just kind of laugh and say, I will have to say Kelly's a great actress to work alongside, and wherever the storyline takes us, I think is just going to be a fantastic opportunity for Safan and Kalani to grow together.
All right, so how about you, Kelly? You were joined in one of the later retoolings after Lasan and Safan after Elisa and Safan joined the crew after replacing the former doctor, Dr. Mark Jensen, who had let's say a more Canadian, Quebecois view of medicine and herbal remedies. Let's say, how has picking up from where he has left off? How has that gone for you?
Well, I think that Kalani is definitely more a traditional science medicine type of person, and it's definitely brought a different flavor. She's a neat freak. She's very organized, and She's got several lifetimes worth of experience, not necessarily in medicine, but just in terms of life experience. So I think she brings a lot of her experience to the table in terms of how she approaches different medical problems aboard the ship, and as well as wherever the journey takes them.
Yeah, so some of that experience and that medical problems, as you mentioned, were a result of Victor, Victor's character, Dr. Vren. How there had been one time, I believe, a strong mental relationship. How does your character feel regarding the end of Dr. Vren as in season one, and do you think how might that end develop for Jar and Dr. Vren as season two into season two and beyond?
I think it's just a chapter of her life that she just kind of wants to put a closure on and just walk away from it. Whether or not she's going to be able to, that's a different story.
All right. Dr. Vren, Victor, you were instrumental in one of the medical issues that the Valkyrie had faced and was the cause of trouble. How is your character coping? How have they repented? What is their current feelings about what they have done?
About what?
So this was to Dr. Vren about how they reacted and felt about what they had done during particularly during that season one when with those electoral life forms. So he responds, well, it's during season one we saw Vren at what I can easily say is his lowest and is at his worst. He had chucked away a long-standing career in medicine and had, through his actions then and past, essentially alienated everyone. And I think the saddest thing is that he put everything into his career, but did not have anything, and did not have anything outside of that. Did not have a family. Did not have hobbies. Did not have anyone left after he had a ridiculously huge ego, and he let that get the best of him. And I think in some ways, I think Vren the story of Vren has concluded, but in many other ways, I think there is still so much to be mined with that relationship with Vren and Jar. I think that there's a lot still there to unpack and to bring forward. So that's what I'm looking forward to in the future. And so that brings us to our last villain for this episode. Richard Peltier, you were playing Ruvak Pellis, the commander of the Romulan Starbird, the IRW Minas, who has been a repeated antagonist for the crew of the Valkyrie. What can you say about him as a character? What kind of things are we going to see from him in season 2 and beyond? His thoughts are going about how so Pellis, or Richard, as his actor's known, talks about how as a character that he has a lot of different sides and parts to him, and that season 2 will allow the viewer to see more of those sides and to just develop and expand him from a 2-dimensional enemy into a fully realized 3-dimensional character, and that through his interactions with the Valkyrie will be shown. He's not necessarily going to have the same ideas or the same goals at any time, but there is definitely more to him that I'm looking forward to be shown on the silver screen, on the small screen. And she looks over her page. Well, I think that's all the questions that we have time for. So thank you for the crew of the Valkyrie for joining us here on Timeline Entertainment. And after a brief pause, you hear one of the camera. All right, we're cut. Well, that was. Thank you for your time. Fortunately, we've got to run off and do some editing with that, of course, and to create written our new newspaper entries and to develop for the TV. So it was a great pleasure of mine to meet all of you. Thank you. And she sort of goes around to shake each one of your hands.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
Very firm shake.
And that was off. The cameras will start to be packed up. The boom mic operator is packing his stuff up, storing it in a long case, and things are leaving the stage. Quentin sort of starts to come up. Well, that was rather entertaining. Thank you for your interview. Perhaps it's back. It's time to go back to the stage. And he sort of clicks his fingers, and all of you once more are on your stations in the Valkyrie. Things are like they were before Q originally brought you into this universe. You have your entire history's back, but this sort of weird brief experience, memory of living as an actor, as you remember everything you said, everything that everyone else said, and you feel at home, but there is also an uneasiness that sorts of as you just try to process what just happened. Fortunately, the 3 Jem'Hadar ships are still frozen. Q isn't there to be seen just yet. I'm just gonna have to switch over maps for a bit. There we go.
So we're back on the ship as ourselves. Right?
You're back on the ship as yourselves, Mzaka, okay. as everyone.
I'm no longer a human in a cat suit.
Yes.
I'm back to being a Cation.
You're back to being a Cation. Ted's back to being a Delphinian. You're all where you were originally instead of on the bridge. Holt is still on tactical. Safan's, who knows where Safan is. Safan's back. It's still in medical. Everyone was exactly where they were prior to the I'm going to say the snapping.
I am busting my ass to
God
keep the
damn it.
Wow.
Happening.
All right, quick physical checks. Snout, fins, tail. Oh, thank God. All right. What the hell was that about? Somebody get Safan and Dr. Jar up here immediately. What the
I'm
hell
not
was that
asking.
about?
Is this the part where we get rocked by the Gemini?
Yeah, somebody figure out what's going on
they're
out there.
still frozen in space. The temporal portal is still there, and that's frozen as well. And Q just sort of flashes in as you're having these questions and sorts of, now, wasn't that fun?
No, it wasn't. I don't like being someone else.
Just what? What? Ted's still processing all this. The ships. What's going on with the Dominion vessels?
Oh, well,
They're still frozen, Captain.
I haven't done with you yet. Of course they'd still be frozen.
Oh well, look who it is.
As always, your friendly neighborhood Q.
Was that done?
I said at this point I would like to be taking over the tactical station.
Holt, if you mind.
Of course not.
Maybe you
So-
ought to check in with the Fenrir Squadron as well, just in case.
So Stefan,
on
Stefan, as you get to the tactical stage, you hear a beep on your command badge. Palace to Stefan.
Safan here, go ahead.
I just had an interesting experience, and presuming that this is a Starfleet vessel, perhaps others did too.
You were not alone. We can discuss further once the immediate emergency has resolved.
Yeah, speaking of which, can I get an update?
An update?
An update, as in, can I know what's going on?
Don't you know?
It might be best if you came to the bridge, Pellis.
Very well, I'm on my way. And with that, the connection goes dead.
So Ted just turns to Q and goes, "So what the hell was that all about?"
For a person who is going to be, or who has travelled through time, I thought that would be perfectly obvious. A test to see how well you would fit in with new surroundings, Captain, and I have to say, I am thoroughly and utterly disappointed in your performance. Stefan, on the other hand, well done.
Ted just like,
Fascinating.
So Mazaka is going to walk over to Ted and whisper, "Cisco got rid of him by punching him."
I'm considering it. So that whole bit was just to what? Cart us around, what, pre-21st century Southern California?
I wanted to see how you would react to unusual circumstances, how well you would fit in with the natives, how you would interact, whether you would take your role seriously, and whether you would put yourself at unnecessary risk to do so.
Is that not the course of our normal duties on the Valkyrie?
We're Starfleet officers. That's kind of part and parcel of what we do.
Well, you never know. You always have to check these things.
I think you were just bored.
Oh, that is also a possibility, if you want to think that way. But I like my reasoning better.
Q, why don't you go find, like, I don't know, some lost ship and bother them? I'm sure they could use some of your entertainment.
I'm sure they would, but I think I'll leave it a bit longer.
Okay, well, do you plan to fix your mess that you made outside there with the Dominion ships?
We would indeed be most appreciative.
Oh, that, yes, don't worry. It's I've taken care of that already. And, goodbye. It's a pleasure seeing you. I might have to do this again sometime.
Oh, please do.
Believe us, the pleasure is all yours.
As it always should be. Ta-da! And he snaps his fingers and vanishes. Time actually starts up again for the Dominion fleet, for the wormhole, the temporal portal just suddenly collapses, and that's just gone. While the explosion from the first Jem'Hadar ship hits the second one, which causes that to explode, and then sort of the explosions of the two of them take out the final third Jem'Hadar, leaving only the remains of the Jem'Hadar, of the three Jem'Hadar attack ships that had rather aggressively attacked you previously.
Holds a better shot than we thought.
Hire scan for survivors.
Captain, I suggest recovering the debris.
Yeah, agreed.
Captain,
Set up some...
Starfleet intelligence will both be highly interested.
Mm-hmm. Iris, is anyone still out there? Both ships and any survivors from the vessels.
So, Iris will have to roll because unfortunately, where did I put her character? There we go. No, that's not her. What? I'm totally lost my own character. How did I do that? Oh well, I'll just have to manually
Iris has
roll.
had enough of this bullshit.
So this will be with a focus, and she's going to take a momentum.
I see her. She's actually under supporting characters.
Yay!
How she got in there, I don't know.
Well, I mean, someone would have had to move her.
Oh, yeah. Okay, there we go. So I'm going to roll her. She's taking a third dice with momentum. Oh, I'm clicking on the wrong thing to... Three dice with focus. That's... this is in reason science. So let's roll. Okay.
Nice.
Can someone do the ship for me, please?
I'm on it.
That's
Thank you.
senses.
Yeah.
Last time I rolled that, we got into this situation.
Well, I'm not doing that. What's the roll?
I'm going to say senses engineering.
All right. Oh, shit.
Here we go again.
2. Can I spend 2? Is it... What is it to reroll dice?
I think you can only reroll your dice unless there's a power.
Oh yeah, that's right. You can't do it with the ship.
Okay, so with the four die, with the 4 successes, you get a good scan of the ship, of the debris of the ship. Unfortunately, with the complication is that there is absolutely nothing usable. From the scan, the body, there's no one alive. Everything is just too well atomized, too well torn apart. It would take, and you know how I mean, there's all these little tiny bits of junk, but you have no idea actually how much of the initial volume, initial mass of the ships is actually still there. So there is nothing to really take for Starfleet intelligence.
Great. All right, I'm still gonna want status. I'm still gonna want the status report, damage report, and casualty report. 15 minutes.
So this is when Pelos appears on the bridge, and is I was permission to enter the bridge.
Granted.
Does someone mind filling in what just went on, because that was weird.
Fascinating.
Well, that's a word a Vulcan would use.
Tell us, what does the Toshiar know about the interdimensional entity known as Q?
We haven't had direct interaction with him, but we are convinced that he does exist.
Consider yourselves fortunate.
Mm-hmm. There's your proof.
So what I saw was, what I experienced was because of Q.
Yeah, he has a habit of having fun with certain Starfleet captains.
Well, lucky you then, Captain.
I don't know why
I
I'm
believe
also...
he would disagree.
Yeah. I don't know why I'm on his radar all of a sudden.
Well, sorry, perhaps the sarcasm didn't translate very well.
Oh, no, I got it. Oh, yeah, I assume you and your family are all right?
Yes, we are. There are minor injuries, but nothing that even most basic field medicine wouldn't cover.
All right, good. Good. Q decided to start off his shenanigans this time with a firefight with the Dominion.
As my understanding is, we are not, well, yet anyway, at war with the Dominion.
It's Q. You could have thrown a board cube at us if you felt like it.
However, that does raise an interesting point. The ships did fire immediately upon encountering us, which would strongly suggest that we are, at some point in the future, at war.
Ugh. I'm not thinking about that right now.
So, give me an insight check as well. Savan, insight security.
Okay. Focuses?
I'm gonna allow observation.
Okay. I'm gonna take a die here. I'm gonna take momentum. We're maxed out, so why not?
Was it just one?
Yeah, just one.
All right. So
3 successes.
you did also briefly consider the fact that, well, there were Q creations, so maybe they were programmed to be, but in terms of the specific nature of the time gap and the fact that they may have actually been temporarily transported back in time, that causes you to realize, no, we are definitely at some point in the future are going to be at war.
I'm going to just kind of make a mental note of that and maybe pass that information along to my contact at Starfleet Intelligence.
All right, then.
It'll be... I mean, their analysis is probably that's where we're going anyway, but it'll be nice to have that extra bit of confirmation. Thanks, Q, for actually doing something useful, even though you didn't mean to.
Oh, who said he didn't mean to?
Freaking Q.
All right. So after checking, there is damage, some which you would like to get some dock time to fix, but it is mostly repairable. It's just going to take perhaps a day or so to fix for the things to fully be fixed up.
Other ship docking facilities over at Delphi, or within the Delphinian Solar System?
there probably would be.
Do we want to take an extra day just to get there, or do we want to just get ourselves warp ready?
I mean, we could start repairs while we're at warp.
Yeah, no, definitely the best idea.
Alright, so Mzaga, I'll need you to do make it a control engineering check.
Okay. Control engineering.
With, I'm going to say, communications engineering for the ship.
Alright.
No, structure engineering. Make it structure engineering.
I'm assuming I have a focus that applies?
I hope so.
Okay. And I'm going to take a moment for an extra die.
Okay. So this will be a difficulty 3 task.
Okay, actually I need to do a quick double check on something. Because I have talents related to ship repair. Yep. Where the hell are talent? Dang. There they are. Let's see.
I love how talents are just laid out in this book. It's just so delightfully inconvenient.
You know, we made a cheat sheet, right?
We did.
No, I have not gotten it, so
Okay, I'll post it to the channel because I ordered it all by discipline.
perfect. Thank you. Okay, that one doesn't apply. One doesn't apply. Okay, I got nothing that applies specifically for this. Okay. Good to make sure, though. Well, I should check my metal, shouldn't I? Nope, doesn't apply here. Okay. I'm rolling. Thanks for the patience, guys.
And
Oh, shit.
Someone roll for the ship as well. Structure engineering.
Not me.
Yeah.
Yeah, go
I
for
was
it.
going to suggest Journey.
Holy shit, that sheet is cursed.
That's another 20.
Okay.
I guess tonight that's how we roll.
I swear, our ship's sheet has to be cursed. Like, no one has gotten a good roll on it in weeks.
All right. So you
Give it a
start
shot.
making
Go
good
for it.
repairs, but it's just for some reason taking much longer than you initially expected, and you're only about halfway through by the time you eventually do get to Delphi. Normally, under normal situation, you think you probably could have done this mostly, at least, by the time you got there, but it's just all these small irritating things happening that just slow you and your engineering team way down.
I give a long speech about how they should be very lucky that the Federation doesn't use money anymore, because if they did, they would all be getting huge pay cuts for this incompetence.
That's a way to motivate people. Jesus.
One last thing for Ted before we finish up, unless someone else has something they want to do. Ted, can I get you to do an insight command roll?
Sure.
Difficulty.
Boy, this is gonna be one.
Difficulty is going to be 2.
This is going to be one hell of a report to Starfleet. All right. Do I have a focus on this?
Let me check. There we go. There you are. I'm looking at the wrong thing, so I can't check your stats. So do you focus? That's what we're asking.
Yes, focuses. Okay.
I'm going to allow one, though I'm not going to tell you which one.
Okay. I'm going to grab a die for cautious. And let's do this. I'm going to reroll that one. Okay.
Okay, so I'm
You know, teens.
I'm using 2 threat, and here's why. You realize, hang on, Keegan must have heard everything that was said during the video. If everyone here
Oh, shit.
was characters and they you know, like, remember everything, that means Keegan does as well. So that's where we're going to leave it for this episode and the season finale of Valkyrie. Thank you so much for
does
joining
anybody
us.
have any other scenes? Come on. Does anybody have any scenes? Yeah.
I mean,
We got 9 minutes.
I'm going to
got
take
nothing.
that as a no. So thank you once again for joining us. This is Bazag and the crew of the Valkyrie signing off.